Good evening, televiewers, and welcome to another exciting edition on our program Mountain Echoes. Today, Wednesday, we shall be looking at this topic: how can we protect kids from abuse during this holiday? It's no news to us that I'm sure those in the class 6 pupils, those who teach in primary schools, after today they begin with their very long vacation from now till September. And those in class 5, class 4, class 3, class 2, and class 1, and the nursery school pupils, they were ready for vacations, and they have quite a long vacation. And so we thought, with the happenings around our neighborhoods, with the last case that we had was in Munya, and there are other ones that are not reported yet. It's no news to us that some of our parents are part and parcel of these incidents and acts which are not worthy, which are not Christians, that we may say. And we think it is high time we talked about these issues as it is holidays. And so we have, of course, Mr. Catechist Emmanuel. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Father. Good evening, fellow panelists and televiewers of this wonderful TV, DMR TV. We are always there to bring you just the best, and today is not an exception. We are going to scrutinize this topic. We are going to dig deep and bring out those solutions we think are necessary for us all, for the safety of all our children. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel. And beside Mr. Emmanuel, we have Madame Maureen. When I think of Madame Maureen, one thing comes to my mind: the Stainless Sisters. I'm still longing to see them. I hope maybe before the end of this year they're going to come to the TV and maybe to tell us more about themselves, and maybe to see how they can support the TV in one way or the other.
Thank you, Father. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah.
It's always a privilege to be here. And then, like you said, I'm sure Stainless Sisters will be here sooner or later.
Yeah.
So don't worry about that. And when this topic came up, Father, I just thought of one thing. That abuse is becoming so scary that sometimes we don't even know where to start from or what to say. But I then convinced myself and was encouraged that we'll talk till someone somewhere listen to us. And before I end, like, we are here because our viewers are out there. So shout out to all my fans, my family, Stainless Sisters, my meetings, my St. Jude group, especially the Congadrum women and the Bongsisi women. I know I posted the flyer in all these forums, and I'm sure
we need their contributions.
We need their contributions,
yeah.
Because I'm like, we're short of words.
Yeah.
We need people to talk and assist us of these solutions that we need so badly.
Yeah.
So we are listening to you all as we also try to contribute our little bits to curb this ill.
Yeah, thank you very much. And by my left, we have Madam Manka Angeline. For some time, I don't know, maybe she was out of the country. She has been missing. You're welcome, and thank you for accepting the invitation.
Thank you, Father. Good evening to everyone. Good evening to the televiewers out there. I'm so happy to be back again after a long while. And this topic really touched me a lot, so I decided to come and contribute the little I have to help the situation out there.
Yeah, I think, and the last person on the panel today is another catechist, Akum Cletus, and the church has something to say about this. That's why I insisted that you people should be here. I had my own reason behind it, because they know that the church is the voice of the voiceless. These little kids, these children, especially during vacation, some of them can't really speak, some of them can't really shout, and they need the church to help them. That's why I brought you on board. Thank you very much for accepting the invitation.
Thank you too, Father, and I'm glad to be here and to be able to see how we as a Christian community, as we should be able to put our heads together to see how to help our children, because most especially in the world that we live in today, you see that if care is not being taken, our children will just really become wayward. And so there is that need for us as the church to be able to see how to help these children, to let them grow up to become what we want them to be, because we know that tomorrow when we are not there, they will be the one to lead the church, they will want to pilot everything as far as the church is concerned. So it is our duty, it is our responsibility to see how to help these children so that they should not be abused. They should live the life that, I mean, every Christian child is called to live. Because when we look at the Bible, you see that when we look at the Bible in the Gospel of Mark chapter 10, verse 14, it tells us the place that children have in the life of the church. When Jesus Christ went talking to the apostles, after when the apostles were struggling like to keep the children aside, then Jesus Christ told them that no, allow the little children to come to me, to make us to know the importance of children in the Christian life or in every Christian community. So I think that with this topic, we'll go a long way to see how to help our children so that they grow up to become more better Christians that they are called to be.
Yeah, thank you very much, Katekisa Kumkletus, for that. I just want to take something which is, that's related to this. Some years back, precisely the 2020, that was May 2020, we are told that George Floyd, whose last words was "I can't breathe," became a global symbol of protest against police brutality and crucial injustice in the United States and beyond. This time around, we are not in the United States. The children, they're crying the same. They can't talk, not really breathing, they can't talk, because they talk to some of their parents, and their parents seems not to be listening to them, seems not to be hearing to them, seems not to understand them. And so like George Floyd, they too are crying, that we come and we talk on their behalf. We come like the voice of the voiceless to help them. And we begin with this very question, Madam Manka. It's not news to us that the pupils are already out for vacation. Do you know exactly how your child is spending time with friends, relatives, and maybe caregivers? And maybe have you properly, carefully examined these persons that your children, or maybe those in your house these holidays, or maybe where they have gone to?
Actually, holiday period is a period where children are supposed to bond with their parents, not caregiver any longer. Because for the past 9 months, they have been with the teachers. They have been with the caregivers. And you had time to do your job. But during holiday, it's time for bonding. So I don't see any need why a parent will abandon a child during that period of holiday in the care of a giver.
Yeah.
Or somebody to help. Or sending a child for holiday. What are you doing? It means you are running away from your responsibility as a parent.
I hope we will not chase you after this program. Because there are some parents out there, immediately they leave, the children leave from the boarding houses as they come, go to Kumba, go to Yaoundé. You don't know your child.
They are sending their responsibility to another man.
Okay.
Meanwhile, they needed that time. That's the only time for them to bond.
After 9 months,
after 9 months, you have just 3 months to be with them, and you are running away from the 3 months responsibility. It means you are not.
I'm sure this is what Bishop Bushu will say is a terrible thing. Anyway, as we're looking at the topic, how can we protect kids from abuse during this holiday? You're looking at the topic, Madam Maureen. What do you have to say? What do you have to tell the viewers? Just looking at the topic.
Father, just looking at the topic, like I said, I didn't even really know what to think about this, because I remember we had a topic here of child abuse, especially within family circles, and we were crying foul, saying that uncles, relatives who come to the house and other children, they abuse children in the house. And the shocking revelation we're having now is that the children are not even safe in their own homes, because some of these children are being abused by their biological parents. It's egregious. It's really, really appalling that sometimes you don't even know what to make. Where do you take the child to now? Madam Manka was just saying we shouldn't send our children out for holidays. They should be with us in our houses. I think I'm not the only one who have heard stories of fathers, biological fathers, violating and abusing their own children. So
the home itself is not safe.
It seems as if the home itself is not safe.
So where do we take them
that
to?
Notwithstanding, we wouldn't stop to take those precautions that we want to bring out here, because it's not every home that is not safe. We just want to call on those homes, those fathers, those parents that have decided that they will be a thorn to the flesh of their children, that will traumatize those children, because that's the even worst part of abuse. Sometimes children are even able to air out the abuse when it comes from an uncle, from the brother, from the neighbor, but when it comes from your own biological father, I think you're tongue tied. Those children, you go mute, incommunicado. They can't talk. But we are coming here to say that we want to condemn that kind of abuse with every iota of blood in us. And we know that as time goes on, we'll only, put everything into prayers. We'll call for divine intervention. But the home is supposed to be the safest place for the child, not holidays, like Father was already saying. I was just thinking about that. Immediately we carry our children from Sase, Mount Carmel, we reach the Park My 17, they are going to different directions. And that is when they come to, and the worst part of it is that when they even go and they're experiencing all this abuse, not only sexual abuse, there is verbal abuse, there's physical abuse, they're tortured, all sorts of things are being done to them, and they have nobody to talk to. We have a case of pneumonia case, like you're saying. That child was in their house, like we can say. That child had no way to go to. That was already her house, because we learned the mother was no more, and we didn't hear anything about the father. So that child thought she was safe, but on the contrary, that was where the child was going to be slaughtered, because that boy or the guy who did that thing is the older brother. But we are still saying that parents, let's try to, what will make our home safe? We have to go back to our African traditional values, to our religious values, because we are talking here in context. We're in Africa, we're in Cameroon, we are here. We will not take things from other places. We know that our values, integrity, respect, how the dignity, that those are the values that are portrayed. Morality, moral uprightness, those are the things that we're supposed to inculcate in our children and take care of them. But we just pray that we revisit our values. I think that's the most important thing. We revisit our values, and make the society a better place, a safe place for our kids and for all other kids around us. Yeah,
thank you very much. Since by the topic, we are talking of how to protect these kids from abuse during holiday. I think maybe Madam Manka, you're going to tell the viewers that some of them, when you talk about abuse, they're not really aware. Could you just maybe expatiate on that before start looking at maybe the measures or ways how to protect these persons? We'll quickly look at the types of maybe abuses, we'll look at the causes and then the consequences, and of course solutions, which are the way we can protect them from this kind of issues. Could you just talk maybe a little about abuse, because there are some parents who are not aware of what it means to abuse a child. They are not aware of that.
When parents hear of when you get just the notion of abuse, maybe your mind is taking you directly to sexual abuse.
Yeah.
But that is not the only form of abuse, because there are so many forms of abuse. You have physical abuse. Taking, like, for instance, you parent, because of the stress during the holiday, most parents, they don't want to hear noise. And because of the holiday, you are financially stressed, you are psychologically disturbed with the noise of the children, you tend to be violent, and you tend to start beating them. That's physical abuse. You go to emotional abuse or psychological abuse. That's the child psychology. You insult the child. Foolish thing. All those type of words that you address a child, it demoralizes that child. You have sexual abuse, which is popular. This is the one that is popularly known outside, and everybody is relegating it to the only abuse. But the most type of abuse that is affecting children nowadays is psychological abuse. And we parents will feel that it is only the sexual abuse that is well exposed, but you don't know that psychologically you're killing that child. You are demoralizing that child. We also have neglect. Neglect is a form of abuse. If you don't take care of your child's needs, you don't see that your child have all the basic needs, those children tend to focus to peer. They focus their attention towards peer influence. And when peer influence comes in, your child is gone. Your child start associating with friends that maybe you yourself you don't even like. You have child exploitation. Nowadays, you see parents giving children cookie corn to carry and go and sell, groundnut, just in the pretext of you are looking for your school fees money. All that is child abuse. You have exclusion. For instance, if you know a child is supposed to be having that leisure period, but you exclude the child from having all those leisure activities during this holiday period, that is a form of abuse. Holiday period is meant for resting and exploitation. I have one experience. Every holiday, I make sure my children in the house, they learn a trade. and a leisure trade, not any type of trade. You choose a trade you want to learn, and during holiday I make sure I pay and you go there and learn at your leisure. That gives you the opportunity to have at least a skill before you go back to school.
Yeah, maybe when you'll be coming back, Madam Manka, I'm sure Mr. Cletus, while Mr. Cletus is coming up, we remind Ambrose they are the technical bench to put together some of those videos showcasing this abuse, the symptoms, neglect, and some other things. Just check, prepare that so that the viewers also will maybe get it's a kind of a summary resume of what we've just said while we put our heads to the other things that are upcoming. Mr. Cletus, added to what Mama just said, this whole thing of abuse, you know, when people hear about abuse with kids, they think about sexual abuse, but there are many other ones that, you know, they do, and they pretend that maybe, or they are not aware of it, because like I said, we come to the TV to inform, to educate, and to entertain. There are many parents out there, the abuse is being carried out in your homes, or maybe in their locality, in their neighborhood, but they are not aware of it, because they know of, when they talk of abuse, they know of sexual abuse. That's just all.
Yeah, true, Father. From what Madam Manka said, I think that if I have any other thing just to add to what Madam Manka said, is that true, some parents, they abuse children, they don't even know that actually what they are doing like that is abuse. Like, in addition to what she made, the number of abuses that she made, types of abuse that she made mention of, we have the medical abuse also, where sometimes you see some parents, they struggle or to intentionally trying to make their children sick. Yeah, I remember in one of the schools, I will not want to make mention of the name of the school, where children, like, they have just finished with first school today, the children were preparing for their common entrance and first school, and so they had to hold a meeting where they said, no, parents should be able to help the children to see how these children can be able to at least learn something that they can be able to do, either to wash dresses when they'll be doing their practicals, or maybe to cook. And then there are some parents that they say, no, oh, my child is allergic to fire, my child cannot go closer to charcoal, my child cannot do this, cannot do this. And I remember when they had to do the practical part, I think during the common entrance, one of the parents came, and then I said, no, that my child is sick. But the child was insisting, I said that no, it is like that, I can do this thing. And then the parent was the one insisting on to tell those who were there, as the officials that were there, that no, this child is sick, so this child cannot even go beside the fire. You see that you make the children sometimes, they don't do the right thing that they are supposed to do, and then they end up, maybe you are causing them, you put that kind of abuse there, trying to force a child to become sick where a child is not supposed to be sick. And just like she made mention, there are many things that parents will do where they abuse their children on, that sometimes they look at it to just be a normal thing. Yeah. I think, for example, when the results of the common entrance came out, if maybe your child passed the list B or not list A, it's just for you to do what, to see how you can encourage that child to see, no, yeah, you took the list B, is not bad, no, but you make sure that when the first school comes, then you work very hard. But you see, when you start seeing all the negative things, so your child, criticizing the child, even though you are good for nothing, this and that, psychologically, that child can never be balanced. Because the child thinks about those things. Maybe you start doing what, comparing your child with another person's child. Look at this child, this one is taking list A, and then you went and carry list B, or you fail. When you make like that, the child start reflecting, and then you forget that, no, what you are doing to that child like that, psychologically it will affect that child. And as that child is growing up, the child already knows that, no, there's nothing good that I can ever do. Anything that I do, my parents must always do what? Criticize. They will always condemn everything that I do, of which, as parents, we are supposed, instead, to help these children to know that, no, we use that God-fearing attitude to see that we bring our children closer to ourselves, educate them, make them to feel important, to feel valued, so that they know that, no matter what, I have people that even if things do not go the way they are supposed to go, they'll be there always to encourage me, they'll be there always to motivate me to say that I work more harder in life. So we really need to help our parents to see that they come out of some of these things that they make the children not really to grow up to be the way they are supposed to be. Some children grow up, sometimes they are imbalanced because the things that parents get up and tell them. You see somewhere, maybe even in the classroom as you are teaching, a child is looking at you like that, but the child is not with you. The mind is very far. Yeah. Sometimes you call, by the time you call the name of the child, you find the child just shaking like that, and then you ask the child, what did I say? The child is not able to tell you. Sometimes when you ask the child what's the problem, the child starts telling you, in our house, this is what is happening, this one has gone or this one has come down. So we really need to see how we can help children to grow up and be what they are supposed to be. As parents, we try to avoid those abuses like that as far as our children are concerned.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Cletus. It's no news to us that we have the physical abuse, we have emotional abuse, sexual abuse, neglect, abandonment, and child exploitation. Basically, I'm sure there are 6. Madam Morena, there's still some that we've left out as far as this whole issue of child abuse is concerned. The last one, which is a seat, child exploitation, like we said, you see children of maybe below 10 selling fresh corn or maybe granules at my 17, and they start news about that, Madam Manka. Can you imagine? Some of them are told that don't come back if the granule is not finished. You see, it's not Christian.
And another sad thing is that they go the whole day like that and they will not eat. It is also another form of abuse. Nutrition.
Yeah.
They go the whole day because maybe whatever they are selling has already been measured. They're expecting that they should come back with this amount. And like you're saying, you have to finish it before you come back home. And maybe a child doesn't finish it earlier and has to spend the whole day out there struggling to sell to bring back the money without eating.
Late at night, struggling.
Father had an experience. I was traveling and one child collapsed rather in my 17. So they thought it was something else. That child was selling the whole day, and when he was tired, was a boy, he sat somewhere, and then later on he went off, he passed out. That child had been selling the whole day without eating. And another thing that we also minimize is shelter. Yes, it's another form of abuse. You see where some of these children sleep. We have to provide a comfortable space for these children to sleep, especially those that we stress a lot during the day, that we have sent to sell the whole day. They come. We know that things are not good, but we have to try as much as possible, because you see a parent lying comfortably on the bed and that child is lying on the floor, on a mat, not even on a mattress, on the mat. Tell me, in the cold, maybe that child is not even well covered. Those are the little things that we minimize, because it is a form of abuse.
Yeah, it boils down over neglect.
Yes.
We have that physical neglect, not providing food, shelter,
yes,
or clothing. Yeah.
And I equally wanted to cue in that, you see, this abuse is in a chain. One leads to another. When you start with sexual abuse, the child becomes psychologically disturbed, and that is how it goes on. The same with physical abuse, and that is how the same with verbal abuse. Some will start with verbal abuse and at the same time intimidate the child. Sexually abuse the child, and then the child just grows being a traumatic human being. And then even when they go in for all these bad habits that we see around, you'll be wondering. And when it happens and they don't have somebody to talk to, like the case in hand, that what we see every day, you now see some of them in the streets. They become wayward. Juvenile delinquency is on the rise. That is why we see so many of these children on the street. I know that we have not come to remedies yet, Father, but when we come, we'll talk about those things.
We'll come to that, I'm sure. Catechist Emmanuel has been. You work with these young people. Can you just share with us? You see these things every day.
I've been bubbling inside.
Yeah. I see. Yeah.
It needs to be spoken out because it's really a timely topic that we need to dig deep on it. Because when we talk about holidays here, we should not forget those who leave villages, for example, and come to our homes. We should not forget that. Let's not only focus on taking our children and sending out of our homes.
Yeah.
What about those children that live and come into our homes? That we think that, okay, because I've left villages for one reason or the other, they have come to heaven, where we have to burden them with whatever duty in the house, like she is mentioning here. Let's have consciences. Let us work following our consciences. You will see children, you may have your wife and maybe your biological children in the house, and because another external child has come, every chores home is given to that. You know, you see some children, they will carry water from that is from the morning to around 10 p.m., 11 p.m. You see little children carrying containers on their head, while the biological children and the parents are in their homes enjoying. So I think that whatever treatment we met on any child, be it our biological child or not, should be equivalent to what we want somebody to met on our own children.
Yeah, you go back to the scriptures, like you go on to others, just what you want.
So if we can follow that golden rule,
yeah,
I think we are going to have a very wonderful future.
Yeah,
and like she mentioned here,
Manuel.
I have come across cases in class, like he equally did mention there. You know, you see children whose parents are out of the country, which in most cases they are supposed to be well catered for.
Yeah.
But you see children looking so malnourished. You know, when you look at a malnourished child, nobody needs to tell you. You see the symptoms all over the person. Meanwhile, the parents do their very best to do what? Send whatever the children need. Which means if our consciences are not at work, we are not going to have it better on us. So I think that before we even get to talking about the remedies of this whole situation, we have already started digging out those abuses, the types of abuses. Those we cannot mention here. I want to beg that all the viewers, all the parents out there, you can add so that we put them all together and see how to move forward from this situation of ours.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ima. And Mr. Ambrose over there, if the first video is ready, could we just have that, which is a kind of a resume of what is sexual abuse, for maybe child abuse, the type, symptoms, neglect, and the rest. Could we just have that video? Thank you.
Cecile is only 10 years old, but her father Felix has been sexually abusing her since 2018. After examining her, medical doctors say she is already as open as any mature woman. It is the wailing of her 6-year-old younger sister Michelle, who could not bear the penetration pains of her 45-year-old father, that alerted the neighbors, who reported the incest to the gendarmerie. The uncommon act pushed the security forces to investigate the disappearance of these incestuous rape victims' mother 5 years ago. Felix, who had convincingly lied to everyone that she escaped from home, this time confessed that he himself killed her during a family squabble and buried the body in an abandoned pit near the house. Tuesday, October 20, 2020, to the disbelief of everyone, Felix dug out the skeleton in a reconstituted crime scene at Polo Village, Sarsop Division in the Lekies Center region of Cameroon, supervised by the State Council, divisional officer, medical experts, and security officials.
Congratulate the population who had participated in this procedure.
The suspect's family name is Mbele, literally translated as witchcraft. His fellow villagers say earlier this year, in his house, he chopped off and swallowed a piece of flesh from a woman who later died.
And that case is an all too familiar problem over the holidays. Ultimately, child abuse cases rise this time of year, and WSAB's Tyler Nicole spoke with one woman who says abuse.
Yeah, thank you, Ambrose. Though we still, those are the things that have been happening. We still have some of them, like indicating. I think at this point in time, Madam Manka and Emma and Cletus, Mr. Cletus and Madam Maureen, could we just look at first maybe in snappy, maybe causes of these child abuse that we've just mentioned, and the video we also watched. Can we look at some of the causes, and then we could see how we could, and the consequences after, and then maybe a solution how we can protect these our children.
All right, Father. I think Madam Manka already started talking about some of these causes. Stress and depression back at home by the parents. I don't need to elaborate. When somebody is depressed, is angry, he or she tends to transfer aggression. And then we can also talk of poverty in the case that they send children to go and sell in the street. And we are talking about all forms of abuse here. When it comes to sexual abuse, I want to think that it's the quest for fast riches that people go in for occultic practices. They are given, conditions to fulfill. Yeah, when you see the case we just watched there of a father who has been abusing a daughter, 10-year-old daughter, it's difficult to say it, but he has been promised something somewhere.
Yeah.
And the worst part of it is that at times you see that they are deceived. They will never get what they were promised. Another thing is drunkenness. Yes, that is why we also want to say that people should, especially men, they should regulate the way they drink. There is drugs, taking of drugs, drug addiction when they come, because what drug does to the brain, to the mind. It knocks you off. You don't reason straight. And it's also true that they say when you take drugs, you are high. You're not only high to do certain things, you're high. Your libido, like we hear some people say, the quest for your sexual urge arises so much so that you see anything around you, especially men, anything is scared. Be it even your own child, you go in for it. So we also see that some of these children are being suppressed, intimidated. They are not, allowed to talk, because if you're being abused and you're given the opportunity to talk, maybe it will be able to stop, and then they have nobody to cater for them. Let's talk about this case of. You should know. I think we women should know. You should know your husband. You should know the man you're living in the house with. I don't know how to say it, but it seems if you maybe there is a problem, like we all know, and then maybe people opted for separation. If the child is still small, even the court, even the laws, I think the custody of that child at that particular time should be accorded to the wife, to the mother, to take care of that child to a certain age that child can be able to stand or talk for him or herself. Because we're even talking here mostly about the girl child. It's like we're being biased nowadays with the advent of homosexuality and lesbianism. It's becoming worse. No child is safe, be it a boy or a girl. So the causes are also the advent of this horrible Sodom and Gomorrah, where the Western world, we have copied. I used to say that sometimes we even blame the Western world, and I ask myself, is that the only thing we can copy from there? It is not our tradition, it's not in our culture, it's not part of our values, but we want to copy things that are not us. And then that is how we keep on abusing those children sexually, because I know we want to dwell much on sexual abuse because like I said, it's a chain activity. Yes, it's rampant. It's becoming so rampant. And I'm telling you that Father, I know that you asked me to talk about the causes. Everybody is becoming traumatized. Imagine you watching all those things every day, hearing those stories, real stories, watching the video of that child limping and blood oozing out of her because she was raped and destroyed for life. If that child is still alive, and we pray she is, that child is traumatized for life. And some people, with emotions, everybody is not wired the same. What we call emotional intelligence. We have the way we take in certain issues. I mean, our shock absorbers are not the same. Some people are weak. So when you keep on watching those things, you realize that all of us will be suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. Yes, everybody is not. Sometimes when I sleep, those pictures come to my mind. I remember one time your father had to calm me down. You remember the video I watched when we were talking about, sexual abuse within family circles. That's thing that I've been praying to clear off my mind. And we are just saying that we should go back to our God. I think that's the bottom line. All these causes, all these things, where are they coming from? Where are we copying it from? Yes. And like Mr. Emma was saying here, if you feel that you do not have that heart to take care of somebody else's child, do not bring that child to your house. Nobody will kill you for that. Even if you are being pressured, say no. It is better to say no than to bring that child and then treat the children the way we see them all over the street. The children are littered all over the street like waste, like dead every day. And you even see the way they look. Shabby, sick, malnourished, like we have said. So the causes are just, how can I say some? Is it ignorance? Do we really think that somebody is ignorant to abuse a child? Anger? Lack of awareness, and then it's so bad. We are here now to sensitize them. If they don't know that all those things they are doing out there to other children, to other people is abuse, then we're just telling them that it's abuse.
Yeah, I'm sure maybe more we coming out added maybe to the some of the causes of this sexual abuse.
We had a topic here on deviant behavior
in
school.
Yeah.
And mentioning about this, we talked about how parents need to assume their responsibilities.
Yeah.
We made mention of this aspect of holidays too. Here we are again talking about almost the same thing.
Yeah.
And she mentioned the fact that holidays are periods of bonding where children have to tap from that non-formal education. Yes. So we have formal, informal, and non-formal education.
Yeah.
None of this should be absent in a child's life. If any of this is absent in a child's development, then we're preparing for doom. Now, if a child grows up and misses a stage, the child may grow fat in the counter, that the body structure and everything, but that psychological aspect of the child has not grown up as compared to how that child is grown up. Which means that there is no stage in a child that should be skipped, despite what? Now, when you take a look at the world we are living in now, you will come to see that parents do not have time for their children, even during the holidays. That is the reason why before we even set foot on holidays, parents start calling, say, hey, sir, when are they beginning holiday classes? Because children have become a burden to them. Children have become a burden. They have allowed the children to be so exposed to themselves. Now, there is this video too that circulated some time ago. We saw children from a nursery school, 2 children, a boy and a girl. You know, the act they committed was not like, maybe they just found themselves in it. It proved how much they knew about what they were doing. You know, stage by stage. They started by, approaching each other, cuddling, kissing, laying down, and the boy on. Though they didn't carry out the act, but just the gestures they took, it shows how exposed the children are. They are not groomed by the parents. They are not. They have been allowed to be so exposed, and then they are trying to learn how to adapt to life on their own, which is wrong. Now, when they get used to aspects like this, without you trying to differentiate between what is good and what is bad for them, they get to adapt whatever thing they get to adapt. This will go back now to what? The type of homes these children come from. What type of home do they come from? They may come from a single room where they use it as a room, a parlor, a kitchen, whatever thing. Get the point? When the parents, whatever they do, it's as glary as whatever in the eyes of those children. Then what do you expect them to keep in their minds? Secondly, parents have decided to copy this, they call civilization. You get the point?
Western kind of
child is this. Yeah. My child is in Form 1, so he should have an Android for his smartphone. Come on. My first Android phone was a pen touch. That was after I had my advanced level. I hustled and bought it with my own money. So now they're trying to normalize certain abnormalities that will end up spoiling these children. I have had problems with countless children because I saw them with phones. I have seized countless phones from children be it in school, be it in church or in a community. When I see you, if I see you, you are not at the age or in the age of using a phone. I see the phone, I say, go and call your parents. It will shock you to hear that I have seen pornographic videos in 2 or 3 young guys of about 14 years old boys.
Yeah.
Parents have sat and said, no, the world is civilized. Let my child be connected. Let my child be, what term can I use?
Android.
So, Android. That's
Android
right, Father. That's right.
Gen
Now,
Z.
again, let us boil down to the films that these children watch at home.
Yeah.
You see, before they showcase any film, they will make sure they present a warning.
Yeah.
Not to be watched by these.
parental guidance.
So we don't take note of that caption. They
16
always
below,
place on
don't
yes.
be-
We don't know the meaning of that. We just watch because something is showing in the screen, and we if indeed we have to follow this instruction the guys always give us before they showcase any film, it will help us a lot. It will help us. So, my man, even though he's as young as he is, he has his tablet. In the tablet, nothing connected to WhatsApp, nothing connected to nothing. Let the tablet be there with installed educational programs that children can learn from. Check your children's phones on daily basis and ensure that they don't install any how will I call it? Could it be a medium or a media of discussion with what? Yes, because it begins from adapting to 1 or 2 persons through the phone that we're talking about here.
Yeah.
So these are other aspects that we cannot leave them out. We cannot leave them out because at times we just ignore them, yet they play a bigger one on us. Yes.
It's the new normal.
Yes, I think Mr. Cletus, you have any course again, or maybe to add to the courses for on this sexual child abuse, especially or child abuse generally. Do you have any of the courses to add? And then maybe we could pay more attention to that of the social media and maybe neglect also, and maybe is it poverty and some other kind of things.
Yeah, with these points that we have just enumerated, one of the things that you will find around is that children that come from some of these poor homes per se, you see that parents are the ones that always do everything possible to send them out. And when they send them out, imagine that a child is leaving the house, a child dresses up and is leaving the house, and then the mother tells the child that when coming back, bring me something. Is the child walking? Yes. You are asking the child. You are telling
the child.
said
that you are telling the child to bring you fish.
Yes, you are telling the child that no, as you go out there, when coming back, bring me something. And then your child goes out. By the time the child is coming back, and then maybe the child is holding a rapun, and then maybe the child come and give you the rapun. You sit there and you are eating. You are not asking the child, where did you get money from before buying whatever that you have bought to bring back home. You see, when you do those things, the day that maybe the child goes out and come back, and then maybe there's nothing, you start frowning your face. I remember one time at Moloko checkpoint, we sat somewhere, we bought food and we were eating. And then a girl child came back, and then the mother said, how was everything? She just turned and told the mother that, Mommy, today so bad market baby. And then I looked at her, and then I looked at the mother. Then I started reflecting, which therefore means that this woman has just made it a habit that no, when the child goes out, the child must come back with something. And then the child, from there you see that a child goes, and even the things that the child was not supposed to do, the child is not bound to do those things because she needs to come back with something to the house so as to be able to. You find some parents who sit and say, no, don't you know that you find a child of maybe 12, 13 years, the parents are saying that no, you are already big, so you are the ones who do what? To take care of your younger one. At that age, what can you actually do that can generate income that you think that you will be able to do what? To take care of your younger one? It is not what? It is not easy. Those are things that we are called to make the parents know that no. The working age in Cameroon is 18 years. So a child who is below that age, that you should not be expecting anything from that child because that child is a dependent child, which means the child is dependent on you, the parent, not you sitting and then your child goes out and on coming back, you are expecting that the child should come back with something.
You might say that I should bring fish.
Yeah.
Anyway, Mr. Cletus will be coming back to that. Greetings to you all in the studio. I am so happy with this topic of discussion. would like to share my opinion that as parents, we need to bring our children closer to us, sit and discuss with them even about sex education. Also, as parents, we need to know emotions of our children and work with it squarely with no bias. Caution our children not to be idle, not to be isolated in isolated areas. Encourage them to cook and wash dresses by themselves. From Madam Seka Caroline. Madam Seka Caroline, I'm sure is from Clark's Quarter. Thank you very much, Madam. And there is another one here. The person is still writing. We'll get to that. So I think people already know about, like we've talked about the causes, we've talked about these things have been happening. Could we look at the situation of what happened in Munya and some other places that are still hidden? And the best of my knowledge, Madam Warren, I'm sure you know more of this situation. It was all over the social media. We were told from stories, but even from the social media, that this girl of 9 years in the primary school, people had been reporting this issue to the aunt, who was like the mother there. But the mother gave a deaf ear, like I was talking about George Floyd, who was, I can't breathe. She was reporting this thing. And almost 80% or let's say 75% of situations we've been having like this, they do their best to report to their parents, either the father or the mother or maybe the uncle or the aunt who is at home with them. But they seem to, a deaf ear to that. So that is my problem. So what are we telling the viewers? What are we telling these parents, those watching at us at this point in time? What are we telling them in situations like this?
Father, I think you've already told them. You've already told them. Are there two words to tell a parent that listen to your child? Just listen to that child, because anybody under your roof is your child. Like you've said, we learn, we even saw on social media, the video was there. This child talked about it 3 times, and the aunt kept on sending her away. So I will not even talk about the parents, Father. I will want to talk here on those children, on our children, that they should not be intimidated by someone. Nobody should tell them that this thing that I'm doing to you, do not tell it to anybody. Because I don't know how a child come and tell you the first time, this is what somebody has done to me, you do not listen. The second, third time, and even the 4th time. The case of that child maybe just came to create some, awareness in us. That is what so many children are going through, and it's not exposed. So we're encouraging them. We're telling those children. And it doesn't even start immediately like the child was already abused sexually. It starts gradually. So I think there was a time we talked about sexual harassment. It's synonymous to sexual abuse. It's not normal for you to sit and then we are telling our children, you see somebody comes, is touching your breast. It's not normal. Somebody, slapping you, tapping you from the back. It's not normal. Somebody, even those words, using those words to you, those uncouth words, you cannot tell a child, hey, you're so beautiful, you're so sexy, to a 9-year-old child. That is sexual harassment, which eventually leads to sexual abuse. So we are telling those kids, those are our children, when somebody starts doing that to you, know that you have to run for your life. If you tell your father, your mother, and they do not listen to you, do not stop. Check your auntie, check anybody around, check even your teachers. Go to church, go to a priest, go to a pastor. Yeah, even somebody's here. When it comes to, if the worst comes to the worst, you meet somebody because you might be lucky. Yes, you always people say that, Angel, you can meet somebody by the way and say, see, auntie, I want to tell you this thing. Because if this child was telling the mother in the house, where we expect, like I've said earlier, that it was the safest place and the mother turned a deaf ear, where else did we expect that child to go to? Go out there and tell anybody.
It brings us to the parenting style.
Parenting style.
If you look at parents nowadays.
Yes. Laissez-faire.
Authoritative parents. Not even laissez-faire. Authoritative. That they want everything to be heard by them. And those children now, they are scared
to talk to them.
To talk to their parents.
I also want to say that
and they tend to focus.
In the case of this woman, do we say she was authoritative or laissez-faire?
If in the case of that woman, the woman was
she was kind of a case.
She was authoritative to the child.
She was authoritative to
the son. Yeah.
Yes. So
I don't know much about that case.
here
we had the mother and son, they are in the custody.
Yes. So like
Then
you
the
said,
child-
Madam Banka, it also boils down to parenting style, rather. Yes, that when some of them, sometimes they don't even talk, they bottle up because they already know the kind of strict and stern father they have, the kind of mother that will not even listen to them. So I think the case of that child is an eye opener
To all of us.
To all of
sincerely.
us.
Yeah.
Yes, we should listen to
Rather
our
unfortunate
children.
that is a child, sincerely.
Yes,
Maybe
we should listen to those children.
Open communication.
Uh-huh.
I have an experience like that. There is a child. For instance, let me say you are living with your sister.
Yeah.
This child was living with his sister, but this child had a problem, and there was no way to confide to the sister nor the sister's husband. So the child went and confided to the friend, and for the friend not to help, I will help you because this child had a marriage proposal, but had gotten pregnant for another person. Now the person who proposed was to come. What would this child? This child could not confide to the parents that this is what has happened because of that laissez-faire attitude. Nobody to talk to, no communication in the house. So this child now went and communicated with the peers.
Yeah.
What happened? They gave her, instead of giving her a better solution, they gave her Moncap in the place of to terminate. That child took and died. And that is, it boils down to communication.
Yeah.
If this child was open, or the parents were open to this child would have confided in them.
Yeah, that's why Madam Caroline from class, she's just saying that we need to communicate with our children. We have another, we have Mr. Kunkams there. We have something here. Good evening to you all. How can we protect kids from abuse during holiday? Avoid sending your kids from away off places in the quarter or on their own. You know, counsel and advise the kids every week and every time a negative event happens in the environment or TV or social media. Use it as an arena to educate them. Make the kids to understand all the red flags. I don't know what it means. Maybe danger zone. Yeah. Most often the abuser is someone whom the kids trust and are used to, e.g. a neighbor, teacher, uncle, family, friend, in some worst cases a parent. Parents should avoid sending their kids to sell on the streets. It is true, get this, where is it? It is true that times are hard, but some of those kids are too small and can easily be manipulated and used. Let us parents educate our children not to collect any gift from strangers. The kids must at any point in time locate themselves. Let us buy house phones, maybe in code Choronko, and in the course of maybe day while at work, call the house to find out how the kids are doing, especially during the holidays. When parents return from their daily hustles, they should inquire from the kids how their day was. Issues on sexuality must be discussed with children. Keep them busy. Buy maybe a Ludo, buy Egusi, Scrabbles, give them chores, assign them to read passages in the Bible and give feedbacks in the evening. In summary, parents need to be very careful with their kids during these holidays. Educate them properly and include in them a long-lasting values and life skills which will enable to avoid many vices in the society. This is from Auntie P from Dibanda. Thank you very much, Auntie P. That was lengthy, and we have another one here. Good evening to everyone in the studio. Parents should check on their friends, their children's keep, and what they wear. I also strongly stand against children below 18 years using phones. Secondly, parents take time to monitor their children and listen to them. To conclude, I think we should pray for our children because we may advise them, but bad friends interfere. So praying to God to look after them is very good. Ojong Joyce from Moliko. Thank you very much, Madam Ojong Joyce from Moliko. Let's see. Before we check the other one. So they are there. We need to pray. That's the bottom line, because you may do your work now and out there are some other persons waiting for them. To undo everything must have done. You keep them at home. You don't know what is happening. You send them to your friends. You don't know the kind of friends. She talked about dressing. I don't know. I'm sure maybe you could talk about dressing, the way you dress your children.
Yeah, Father, just briefly before we come to the issue of dressing per se, I think that one of the things that many families are lacking nowadays is being able to have family meeting with the children. Yeah, because there is that need for you as father and mother in the house to be able to sit together, have a family meeting with your children, so that they sit freely and then they air out their minds. Because there are certain things that will happen even in your absence, but when you sit and you have that family meeting with them, that you are always open to them, they will feel free. Even when they go to school, they come back, now they'll be able to tell you that, no, in school this is what I am passing through in school. But when you are not always there to have that meeting with them, for them to air out their mind, to tell you their difficulties, you will find that many of these things will keep on being on the rise. So there is that need for parents to say that once in a while they have meetings with their children, they discuss, they allow the children to feel free. We should not take dictatorship and then put in our homes. When we call the family of Mary, Jesus and Joseph that the Holy Family, it was a way in which they lived. We too can be able to emulate that example, so that we live together. When A is talking, the way B will take it will be the one that will make the family to do what? To grow and to forge ahead. Then talking about the issue of dressing, true, there is that need for us to look at the way in which our children dresses. And sometimes I blame some of those of us who are married. So I will blame some of us, our wives, sometimes, because they will say, no, this modern world is Android world, so my child should be able to dress
to look smart.
You find a child, then a child who is not even up to 10 years, and then a mother goes and buy a kind of a funny trouser that called hot pants, and then with a collar, and then the child start growing with that mentality like that. Tomorrow when you want to tell that child that no, this dress is not good, say no, if it was not good, why the
Mr. Kum, the mothers are here. How hot do you want your a kid of less than maybe 13 years or 15? What is the hotness in that child? Which can the mothers should tell us, because most of the times they're the ones who buy those things, and it remains in them as they're growing up. That mama said I need to be hot.
Yes, I think.
Are they maybe pancake or maybe hot soup that they need to take?
It all depends too, Father, if the mother is hot.
Yes, exactly.
Because they say,
okay, say hot mother makes the child to be hot.
I want to support and tell my fellow women out there that we've been doing it and it is wrong. I've also experienced it. I mean, seeing little girls of 6-7 years with hot pants and a spaghetti blouse. And I mean, they are half naked, and they even carry that dressing to church. We've been doing it, and I think it's out of ignorance. But when it comes to abuse, I always have this question to ask. Father, I know that I'm taking us back. When a man rapes a 6-year-old child or a 5-year-old child, did that child dress to seduce that man?
No.
But anyway, I am not saying that
that will be another topic. I'm sure
saying that we should expose our children.
What happens? You know this about this sexual abuse. Husband or the wife who is to be blamed, will bring that on board. You look at it, because of course maybe it's not a hot, but we are discouraging the attitude of parents buying this kind of clothes to their kids, because it remains with them that I want my child to look hot. Anyway, time is not really a friend, Mr. Emma. What do you have to tell our parents? Tell them, what do you tell them during these holidays?
We parents should not struggle to level up our children with what we see on social media. Because all this thing boils down to the dressing and whatever thing. They want children to be like what they watch on TV, on whatever thing. And like I said here, there are children who are gifted children who are extroverts, children who are super children. They're bright. And now because they are too bright, the children want the parents now, they are so confident and so comfortable with the brightness of the children that they take it now to be like something for them to be proud of. That okay, because my child like this, okay, you make that you make that, you build up a certain confidence in that child. The child feels like she's already up to doing whatever thing.
Yeah, thank you very much, Emma. Thank you, Emma.
See this point.
Yeah. Yes. We have a lot to say, but like I said, time is not really a friend. Maybe Madam Manka, one word to the mothers as far as this whole issue is concerned, because this blame, I've not said, maybe I'm not being biased, but many persons are pointing fingers on the mothers, some of the mothers.
My dear mothers out there, let us learn to bring our children closer to us.
Yeah.
The more you bring your child closer to you, that child will expose everything that is in that child. Communication is a key, and bring that child so close to you. every secret about that child you will discover.
Yeah, thank you very much. We'll be coming to these elaborately, I'm sure, more and more, maybe next week. Madam Maureen, thank you for being with us. Mr. Ima, thank you very much. Mr. Cletus and Madam Anka, thank you. Ambrose and Co, who are there, the technical board, thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Yannick, in charge of programs, thank you very much. Madam Joyce Bong, thank you very much. Father Solomon Ekundi Lyonga, Director of Communication, and Bishop Michael Bibi, #1 supporter and promoter of our TV. I want to say happy feast day to all the Christians, parishioners, and the parish priest of St. Nicholas Church in Birmingham, Alabama. Today is their feast day of St. Barnabas. That God may continue to bless them. God may continue to bless all those who are there to watch the program, those who have contributed in one way or the other. See you. Tomorrow is another day for also Mountain Echoes and other programs on the TV. God bless you all.